So the history of this practice started before I actually owned it. I bought it in 2003 and then have expanded it to the footprint that you see today. So the square footage, depending on whose definition, if it's the inside walls or the outside walls, but we're somewhere around 17,000 square feet, not including porches and porte-cochere. Of that, approximately 10,000 is dedicated to hospital and 7,000 is dedicated to lodge and day camp and grooming. There are a lot of things that make this building unique in the appearance, the design, the textures, everything that went into putting this building to the product that you see today all had thought and purpose behind them. Our first goal is to make sure that the visit here is as stress-free for both the client and the patient as possible. When I drive up to the front, the thing that I was trying to get to is that it did not look necessarily like a medical facility. Again, going back to that client and patient comfort. And when I drive in the front, I feel like I'm going to the mountains and going to a lodge where it's going to be some rest and relaxation, and not in a medical facility where it's going to be high stress and lots of, as you know, things that can not always be good news have to be shared. So just driving up the street sets my tone for my day. The design of the building is in a somewhat of a diamond design, in that the cat and dog exam rooms are on opposite sides of that diamond, and there are two hallways that flow to a common laboratory area and ultimately the treatment areas that are species specific. The design helps us to leverage time, and as a result, we're able to see more patients appropriately, time appropriate. We don't want to shortchange anyone, but there are opportunities to improve efficiency by having the design that we have. As we've designed this facility, it is designed to where it can be like a tertiary referral center. So we can grow for 15 or 20 years and still have, by expanding hours, we can have more doctors and take care of more patients and more clients in a facility that just second to none, honestly. So as we designed the hospital, we knew that over time we were going to become a 24-hour facility, and with that brings some security issues. And so we designed this building to where the public could have limited access in the emergency hours, yet the staff can use a card swipe to get through a door quickly if they needed to for patient care. The entry for the emergency side has a vestibule so clients can get in and out of the weather, but there's a doorbell to ring or a phone to pick up, and it'll ring back to the treatment area, and they could get someone on the phone immediately and could get in the building pretty quickly, but at least they're in a vestibule out of the weather. We thought about employee security, we thought about patient safety. We tried to do everything possible to address all those needs as we were in the design phase of this, and we're seeing that come to pass as we actually are working in the building. When we started the design process of this, I told the architects that the number one thing I did not want to do was have odor in the building. And I understand if you have an accident, you're going to have some temporary odor, but we did not want odors communicating from one side of the building to the other, from one treatment area to another. And so as a result, in cooperation with the architects and the design engineers, there are multiple heat and air systems in this building which don't communicate with each other. They have their own supply and return. In some instances, they don't even come back into the building. It's exhausted from the building. So, for instance, in all the hospital wards, there are exhaust fans that takes that air after it's come in and been used per se by the patient. It's exhausted out of the room instead of being returned back into the system to be spread through the building again. Our isolation unit is strictly isolated as far as both location and the heat and air system. So there's no opportunity for contamination with odor or other disease opportunities to arise because those systems are completely separate. Noise is controlled in a variety of things, both the textures on the wall, the flooring. We also have, in certain areas of the building, like in the lodge for instance, double wall construction, and that was a Morton design that they had done before, and it works extremely well. Setting in the reception area right now, any barking that we hear is just a dog that's within the next room or so, and none of the patients from the lodge can you hear their sound, they're barking or carrying on or anything at all. And that's all based on the Morton design and construction. So we have a central wet dry vac system that allows us to spray appropriate disinfectant on the floor, and it sets for a short period of time, and then the same system we can come back and rinse that and vacuum with the same unit. The wet dry system we have in place allows us to keep that floor in perfect shape. And we also have an impervious floor. So it's an epoxy coating that's throughout the entire facility. It's sealed and allows us to have an easy to clean product that also prevents disease from getting into crooks and crevices and creating problems later. One of the things that we wanted to do is to incorporate some reuse of previously used product, and the wood, the sheet metal, all of this product was reclaimed from facilities here in Southern Illinois that may have been houses, from the early 1900s, 1800s, barns, things that have been around for tens of maybe 50 plus or 60 years, and we were able to reclaim those items through a local contractor that allowed us to bring just some nostalgia maybe, but it also contributes to the overall goal of having a soft, warm place you'd want to be environment when you walk into the front of the building. One, you need a good architect and you need a good contractor, and you have to have a relationship there to work through things that come up. So that's paramount, and Morton accomplished that for us. We had a good relationship, and like I said, that relationship allowed us to work through challenges that may come up. I've had an eye for quality, and when I saw Morton's quality, I knew what I wanted. And that's what led me to the decision to choose Morton, along with the relationship and having a comfort with their people in addition to their products.